Okay, so is Jesus unreasonable? If you first read if you first read these verses, you'll be like, "Hey, yo, Jesus, what's going on?" But let's see, Luke 9:59 to 60. Let me address this. He said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." You'll be like, wait. Jesus, why aren't you letting him bury his father first? Well, let me tell you something. The father was most likely not dead yet. Not dead. Well, it wasn't explicitly said, but he's not that likely. Because if you understand historical traditions, in Jewish traditions back in the day, or probably still applies now, in Jewish traditions, do they bury the dead the day the person passed away? Yes. The deceased is buried as soon as possible, ideally within 24 hours of passing. So, this guy wouldn't be following around Jesus if his father would if his father was dead. He was His father was probably still alive, and he was just waiting for whatever. Well, I don't know why he's waiting for his death for whatever motivation. It wasn't explicitly said, but yeah, that he was waiting for his father's death. And Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Jesus meant by this is that the spiritually dead bury their own corpse, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. So the spiritually dead it could be me, it could be anyone, but those who are dead in sin, that's what Jesus meant, that's spiritually dead. You could be a husk, you could be just alive, but you're dead in sin. You've already been judged. So this is what Jesus meant. The dead, that the spiritually dead bury their own corpse, for for their world is here on earth. Their earthly matters consumed them, which allowed them to be dead in sin and not believe in God anymore, or not believe in the good source. But you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. Yeah, so that's what Jesus meant. So what's the proof that Jesus said this? That's what Jesus meant. Well, in Semite language, that's the proof. That in this language, Aramaic language, that's what he most likely meant. That's his wordplay. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what he meant. Jesus liked to speak in metaphors anyway. If you like read through his like stories, parables, teachings, he's big in wordplay. Now, you might ask, hey, how are we supposed to know this? Why didn't Luke explicitly say this stuff? Well, Luke wrote this book for Theophilus, probably most likely a Roman. Luke most likely wrote this for Theophilus so that he could understand more of Jesus. And he did. So he was most likely familiar with Jewish traditions and all that, because yeah, the Roman was like big. The Roman Empire was taxing also the Jews back in the day. So Theophilus was interested in Jesus, so he most likely was familiar with Jewish traditions. So that's why Luke didn't have to specify it. Yeah. Yeah, that was the advantage of Theophilus when he read this book. So Luke wrote this book for Theophilus and did his research, and it coincidentally aligned with the three other gospels. Coincidence? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, Luke 9:61-62. Still another said, I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family. Jesus replied, no one puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Okay, we have to understand that this is not a simple farewell. This is not a simple farewell. And this guy was probably waiting for inheritance as well. Assumptions, yes. But if you look at the original translation, Luke 9:61-62, this is the original translation for to goodbye in Koine Greek. I put tasasta. I don't know how to say it. While it's used for saying goodbye, it often carries a connotation of a definite, formal, total relation rather than just a quick or casual farewell. Okay, you know what this is like even if I explain the context, like this doesn't, even without the context, this is what Jesus is high priority. If you want to serve him, he's high priority, and that's why he says, no one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. So no one, if your heart wavers, if your heart wavers, you are not fit to serve God. You are not fit to serve God through clergy or just serve him in general. And yeah, Jesus, with or without the context, this is what he means. But understanding the historical and the traditions, it makes it a little bit better and makes you understand that Jesus wasn't unreasonable. We are unreasonable.